facing an alliance of autocrats that see Ukraine as a proxy for their struggle against Western power and international law.
Yes, Jonathan, we absolutely are. And I have been saying and I have been trying to articulate from the very beginning of this horrible further invasion back in February 22 that there was more at stake in Ukraine than Ukraine, that this was an assault and a threat to our very rules-based order. And I remind people, and some people say, oh, the rules-based order doesn't exist, and who are we in the West to impose a rules-based order? Well, the rules-based order came out of the rubble of the Second World War in 1945, and it has not been perfect, but it has been based on the principles of freedom, democracy, and security. And if the rules-based order in our world stands for one thing alone, it stands for the principle that might does not make right. And in the world which we want to live in, a stronger neighbor cannot simply invade, murder, rape, and destroy their neighbor on the whim that they want their land, they want their resources, and they wish to conquer them. This is a world that we should have left behind. There are, however, autocrats in this world, and what we face is a quartet of evil, I will call it, and it is spearheaded at the moment by Russia, allied with North Korea and Iran, who we know have been arming, as you said, Russia, but also, most significantly, I have been saying for over 2 years, backed by China, who have a no limits friendship with Russia. And it has been very, very clear to me for a long time that China would bide its time, and it would come in further and further on Russia's side as it saw that in its interest. And I have got to say that the appeasement and de-escalation talk and fear of escalation that we have been hearing from the Western allies for the last 30 months has been nothing but a red rag to a bull into the autocratic dictators in Moscow, in Beijing, and in these other capitals. The final thing I would say that people need to remember is these autocrats hate our rules-based order. They have told us exactly what they think about it. And I always go back to Sergei Lavrov at the 2017 Munich Security Conference when he made a speech where he virtually exulted in the coming asunder of the old order, the rules-based order that we're talking about, and he hailed the rise of the post-West era. Now, I just conclude, and I've said this already, imagine living in a world which is dominated by the values and the principles and the standards of human rights, which are evidenced every day by a Russia, a China, Iran, or a North Korea. Or we can look at our own rules-based order based in democracies, which are not perfect, but as democracies and as the aspirations we have in democracies, we are capable of improving. That's the choice we have. There is a battle for the soul of man being fought at the moment, and it has been fought on the battlefields of Ukraine. And it is the Ukrainians who are doing the fighting, bleeding, and dying on all our behalf.